Joining me now is Louisiana Republican Congressman Mike Johnson. He's the vice chair of the House Republican Conference. So, Congressman, you just heard Ali Vitale there. How do Republicans show that you can be the adults at the room and not let the lights shut off across the country with a shutdown at the end of this month? What's the plan out of this as we sit here now on Thursday afternoon?
Well, I think Ali said it well. We will work this out amongst ourselves. And in spite of all the sensation of this on the Hill today. Sorry, it's been a long day.
I hear you.
I think that the conference is really not that far apart. Look, we all want the same things. Whether you're Freedom Caucus or you're from a district that President Biden won, all Republicans want the same things. We want lower spending. We want the border secured. We want to root out corruption in federal agencies. There's a path to get there. There's a lot of different opinions on how to do it, but we still have time. I think that we're headed to a continuing resolution. And I think that'll allow us time to get the appropriations bills done, and I think we'll work this out.
I mean, on the appropriations bills, it seems like you are in a position now, and correct me if our reporting is wrong on this, but you don't have agreement on the top line number across the board. I thought that was supposed to be solved in the debt ceiling deal. If you're not there now, are we moving backwards on getting closer to actually funding the government?
I don't think so. I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about those numbers, FY22 levels, FY23. We did think we had some of that resolved, but I think we'll get back to the main point. I don't think anyone here desires a government shutdown. It's bad news, as the Speaker said, for everybody. And, you know, I come from a district that has large military installations. I want to make sure our service members are paid. You know, we're going to work towards this. We'll stay here as long as we have to next week and make sure that the job is done. And I'm confident that we'll get it done.
You know as well as I do that staying there through the weekend, while it might force people to work together, it's going to bring some of that friction right to the surface. I mean, the Speaker was very clear about his frustration today. Do you share that frustration with members of your conference? I mean, how do you push these people, and who are they who you see as kind of in the way of getting this done?
Well, look, there are lots of opinions here. I have some very good friends involved on both sides of these issues. But they're all here in good faith. They're all trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to ensure that the end goal is met. Again, reducing spending, closing the border, et cetera. The reality is it's a math issue, right? I mean, this is the reality of politics. I've been in the legislative arena for a long time and understand that if you don't have the votes, you can't move all of your priorities all at once. And I think that reality is going to set in here very quickly. And I think we're going to get some very good legislation. It's not going to be ideal. It's not going to be our dream legislation and everything that we want, but we've got to win another election cycle and win the majority in the other chamber to get all that done, in the White House ultimately. So I think that reality is going to set in.
Is it worth putting something like the defense bill on the floor and sort of forcing the issue and holding a vote on it as opposed to waiting to make sure you've got everything locked down?
Well, it's not my preference, but it may come to that. We have to get the job done one way or the other, and that's something that is being suggested and talked about. It will be talked about in earnest over the weekend, and we'll see what's decided.
The Senate has been moving, quickly in Senate terms on working through their appropriations bills. They're doing it in a bipartisan way. How concerned are you? I know the Speaker wants to ultimately end up in a conference committee and kind of hash this out with the Senate in that way. But if you guys don't get your own bills passed and all you can do is a CR and kind of hold the line until some later date, that these House priorities will get steamrolled by Senate Democrats and Senate Republicans who have agreement where you lack it.
Well, we have to ensure that that doesn't happen. But I mean, I'll say this in general. It is easier to pass appropriations bills if you're plussing up, if you're spending more money. The hard part, the principled part, in my view, is to try to bring this spending under control. It's harder to reduce spending than it is to spend more, obviously. So we commend the Senate for doing their job and getting appropriations bills done, but it's not what we all agreed should happen and what the country desperately needs. We're drowning in debt. I mean, we have almost $32 trillion in debt, and it's a very dangerous time to be in debt because our adversaries around the world are being very aggressive. That is directly related to national security. So the threats are great, and the hour is late, and we understand that. And I think we need adults in the room to sit down and work this out. That's the beauty of this process, as messy as it is sometimes. That's how the founders intended for it to work at the end of the day.
Congressman, I think the members of the Senate would say they are, holding up their end of the bargain here. They're operating within the structure of that debt limit deal. I think they're the ones saying that the House isn't. But I want to move on and talk about the other big story from the House side of the chamber this week, the impeachment inquiry. The Speaker launching this week, basically unilaterally, not having a vote. When Democrats unveiled their article articles of impeachment in 2019, you put out a statement that says, in part, the founders of this country feared a single-party impeachment because it would be bitterly and perhaps irreparably divide our nation. Nancy Pelosi and her radical lieutenants simply don't care. This will backfire on them politically, but it will do serious harm to America in the process. Do those same maxims apply right now as House Republicans, as just one party, appear to be inching towards impeaching the president?
Yes, I would issue the same exact tweet right now, because impeachment, next to the declaration of war, I mean, impeachment is the heaviest power that the Congress has, and the sole power of impeachment, according to Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution, is with the House. So it can't be wielded for political purposes, and that's what we were accusing the Democrats of doing against Donald Trump. That is not what is at issue here, and I've gone to great pains to explain this. To everyone who will listen, we are following evidence, and we have a constitutional responsibility to do so. Because if you look at Article 2, Section 4, it says that a president shall be impeached, shall be removed from office on impeachment of and conviction for treason, bribery, high crimes, and misdemeanors. The evidence that's come forward that has been developed in all these investigations over 8 or 9 months now shows very clearly that we have serious allegations of some of those categories of infractions. And when the Constitution says we must do that, we have to follow the truth where it leads.
There's a big difference between allegations and evidence, though. You have allegations. Do you have the evidence of those things?
We have a lot of evidence. I mean, we have bank statements, we have text, we have emails, we have whistleblowers from the IRS and the FBI who have come forward and testified under oath. We have mounds of this evidence, and it is incumbent upon us. We have a duty under the Constitution to follow it. Look, I take no pleasure in this. Impeaching a president is a huge thing for the country. It's not something that should be handled lightly, and it's not. And I assure you that the people on the committees of jurisdiction that are doing this investigation are doing it with a heavy heart. This is not, we take no pleasure in this. I don't want to impeach a president, but that's where the evidence seems to be going. If the inquiry having now been started, if we gather the remaining documents and there's evidence that exonerates President Biden, then so be it. That's where it will be done. But we will have done our duty under the Constitution. It's a very serious matter.
Congressman, we're almost out of time, but just quickly, the Speaker is right that in 2019, Speaker Pelosi started that first impeachment of President Trump without a vote, but they did ultimately have a vote as they moved further along and uncovered more evidence. Do you believe the House needs to have a vote to formalize this impeachment inquiry to give you, folks like yourself on the Judiciary Committee the authority you need to move forward?
Well, it's not required under the Constitution. It's very broad language in that Article 1 power, the sole power of impeachment is with the House, and there's no prescription on how it's done. I think we'll ultimately probably have a vote, but I'm just saying it's not legally required, and the district court in D.C. has actually ruled on that in recent years. So it may be a good measure, but it's not necessary to proceed.
All right, Congressman Mike Johnson, we got to leave it there. I appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.